I'm Andrew Dismore, the Member of Parliament for Hendon and co-chair of the All-Party Wine and Spirit Group.
And that group has just compiled a report which is going to be submitted to the Treasury, correct, on the impact of duty on the wine trade. And you're suggesting that impact has been quite extreme and the Treasury should think twice before they raise the duty again in the budget.
Yeah.
What do you think the chances are of them taking that on board?
Well, we're in uncharted waters really for the wine trade. It's never really got involved in this sort of intense lobbying before. We've done lobbying quietly behind the scenes on issues relating to the English wine trade, for example, and we've had some success, but this is the first time I think we've tried to take a duty change head on. Other organisations working on the beer and pub side, for example, have been doing this for some time. Scotch whisky too has had a very effective lobby for an awful long time. So it is uncharted waters for the wine and spirit trade, but we've got a good argument and a good case here. The real issue is, can we persuade the Treasury that it's going to get more money by not putting the tax up than it's going to get if it does?
My name's Lindsay Roy. I'm here because I have an interest in supporting the wine business and the whisky trade, and to promote responsible drinking as part of a wider initiative in society.
And this all-party parliamentary group, of which you're a member, has a stated aim of lobbying the government to freeze duty. What, in your estimation, will be the success of the group?
Well, it's very difficult to tell as a new MP how successful an all-parliamentary group can be. I think there's a strong lobby here, and I think it's popular within society that at the current time we don't increase duty, and therefore I think we've got a very good opportunity to have a strong lobby and influence government.
Mr Bottomley, you were on the committee of the all-party parliamentary group that submitted this report now to the Treasury on the impact of wine duty on the wine trade, and with a recommendation that the Treasury should bear that in mind and be lenient in the next budget, possibly freezing duty.
Lenient's not the right way to put it. We learnt with Ken Clarke when he was Chancellor. It takes 2.5 years to get a Chancellor to get into their mind what they hear through their ears. Which is, if you put the duty up too much, you get less revenue, not more. So by asking the Treasury to freeze the wine duty, they're likely to get more revenue than if they put it up. If you start putting it up, people start saying, why don't I have tap water? And there are many advantages in tap water, but they don't have the same je ne sais quoi of wine. Bluntly, the best impact you can get by not raising the duty on wine is to get more revenue from wine, but also I think you'll get more people saying it's worth going for premium wines. The government said they're not going to bring in price control for alcohol. What we want to do is get them to bring in duty rate control so that the total amount they get from duty on wine goes up. But the person who buys wine, and let's remember that 4 times out of 5 a bottle of wine is not bought by someone who's going to end up parroting in the gutter. It'll be bought by someone like me, who's a perfectly respectable member of Parliament, or by my father, who's a perfectly respectable retired civil servant, or possibly even by my daughter, who's a perfectly respectable doctor. He's one of them, that one's a perfectly respectable banker. I think that we have to remember that you don't go penalising the trade by entitled revenue by putting the rates up, you just penalise the drinker and you get less revenue for the Treasury. So if the Chancellor wants to have more money for hospitals and schools and paying off the government debt, freeze the duty rates on wine and see whether the revenue goes up. My bet is it will, and by more than 5%.
Hi, I'm Christopher Carson, Chairman of the Wine and Spirit Trade Association. My take would be it's unlikely that the tax escalator is going to come off. I think that is going to stay there. Probably don't want too many more U-turns or other difficulties from a government point of view. Many ways extremely disappointing today to hear that the RPI, Retail Price Index, has just gone up by 3.2%. So it does look as if we could be looking at 2% plus the 3.2 is going to be 5.2% duty increase. I am genuinely concerned, and having sort of been around to many of the regional lunches and AGMs of the associations, regional associations, and speaking to people, if you like, the grassroots inside the industry, there is a real concern. there is no optimism anywhere, and I think another tax increase, 5.2, will only see a big increase in unemployment, the closure of many wine companies, distributors, etc., and I think some wholesale changes in the industry.
What do you think will be the success of the all-party parliamentary group in lobbying the government on this issue?
Well, I think the group consists of some people who are pretty knowledgeable. We've produced a report which I think is very persuasive. So if the government are going to be persuaded, I think we've done it. I can't guarantee, but I think there's at least a fair chance that the government will freeze duties, that wine won't get more expensive because of the government in the budget. So I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic.
And what do you think is your strongest argument? What's your strongest card?
Well, I think we have so many strong cards. I suppose the argument is that there are difficult times economically, that we shouldn't penalise people who want to drink wine, that we don't want to damage the wine market. It's an important industry in Britain, and I think it's time we just began to enjoy life a bit as well.